Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Sam Roberts Wrestling Podcast. Introducing your host from New York, here is Sam Roberts.
I didn't even recognize you with the beard.
Oh, yeah?
I haven't seen you in a while. Yeah, you look a lot different.
Holy crap, that's loud.
Welcome, Big Show.
Hey, guys, how are you?
Good. How are you?
I'm good. Did I turn down my bike volume or did I turn down my head
I'm not sure
No,
which one is his.
He's got your mic volume over there.
Head volume would be good. There we go.
What made you grow the beard? You just got sick of shaving?
I just want to change my look a little bit. I actually grew it for a TV series that I was trying to get a part for.
Oh, okay.
Frontier. And things were moving along well for that. Then they changed the script, and, you know, it's Hollywood.
So had you gotten the part or you had to audition for it?
Well, I talked with the director and the writer, and we had really talked about some things we want to do, and then they went a different way with the show.
Oh, okay.
So that stuff
Yeah, I
happens.
guess when you're getting-
You never believe anything in Hollywood till it's shot and you get the check and you see it on the screen.
Here's what I believe when they go, you didn't get it. That's what I believe, because that's what normally happens when I audition. Like, sorry, it didn't work out.
Oh,
That's
yeah,
what I
that
believe.
happens too. I mean, you're always going to, I read for stuff all the time. It's not stuff I'm going to get, but I look at it as every time I read, it's just practice. You know, it's just like trying out.
That's got to be a Big Show part, right? It has to be a part with you
it has
and mine.
to be. I mean, yeah, it's like I can't read for the starring role in the next Munchkins movie. Absolutely not. But it's good to read for.
Yeah.
What's something you read for that you're like, this is not me, but you actually did well in? There had to be something where you're like, I don't think this is right for me.
Gosh, you really challenging my brain on this. There was something I went, no, this is really not me. Can't remember it.
Did
now.
you give a good read on it, or did you actually
I think I gave it a good read. I mean, I think I gave it a good read, but I just knew that when I'm reading this, I'm like, this is I tell you what it was. It was for cable, for Marvel, for cable.
Oh,
I read,
for the show. Yeah.
For the new Deadpool. They're doing a new Deadpool, and Cable's one of the main characters. So I think a lot of the boys had read for it because they were looking for a big guy to play Cable, 40s to 50s. But I'm just reading this. I'm like, this guy's got hair. To me, Cable looks like Kevin Nash to me. I'm kind of bald. I look like the guy from Daredevil there, Kingpin. I look like Kingpin. I don't look like Cable.
Well, it's a wig. They can put a wig on you. That's pretty easy, right?
I guess they could put a wig.
They could.
I guess they could put a wig. But,
was that a big decision to when you finally were just like, you know what, I got to shave it off? Because, I mean, you had because
flowing
Big Show's
hair?
yeah, when you're a young guy, you got long flowing.
Well, it started getting thin, and there's nothing worse than a long guy with thin hair. So if it's gone, brother. My hair had a nice run, and it had to go. So now I'm compensating with a beard.
Sure.
Finally, I think the beard does better.
Was it hard to do, though, or you just finally said, I got to do it?
No, when I make up my mind to do something, it's not hard at all.
Were you self-conscious when it was falling out?
A little bit. When I started checking it in the mirror a little bit, going, it's getting thin here.
But dude, nobody's seeing the top.
Yeah, I get pinned a lot, so yeah. They
in that time period.
7-foot enhancement talent, so yeah, I get pinned a lot, so yeah.
Well, how did you? So obviously we're here for WrestleMania weekend, and for a long time, everybody was thinking you were going to wrestle Shaq at the show.
Yeah.
You were getting into ridiculous shape. You're in ridiculous shape. Or was that happening anyway?
That was going to happen anyway because I decided to make a change for myself and do some things, and that just happened to coincide with a Shaq angle. For whatever reason, the powers that be, it didn't work out. So
you don't know, but you don't know if it was like Shaq being like, maybe not, or
I don't think so. I don't know. I think maybe without the risk of going into bullying, because apparently I bullied him before, calling him Fat Shaq, so I apologize for that. I think it's a huge undertaking. I think it's one thing to say, oh, yeah, I'll be a part of WrestleMania, I'll have a singles match, and then you think, oh, I'm going to be out in front of 80,000 people. This is a profession that I'm not fully trained in.
Yeah.
I mean, on my end of it, it's pretty easy because, I've worked with Aki Bono, Floyd Mayweather, Dennis Rodman, Kevin Green. Like, I understand how to work with
a non-wrestling athlete.
A non-wrestling athlete. And, you know what I do. I go out there and I make everybody look good, and we'll have a good story, and we'll get out of there. Mm-hmm. But I think there were other issues that, I don't know if it was scheduling or prior commitments or – there was stuff going on where Shaq couldn't get together to get the time. So,
yeah, because I guess,
and in all sincerity, kind of sucks because, he is a good dude.
Yeah,
he is a larger-than-life personality, and it would have been fun. But you know as well as I do, this business doesn't wait on anyone.
And it's not one of those things either where it's like, okay, I have April 2nd's free, so I'll come in and do WrestleMania. It's like, no, we need a lot of time.
We need to do media.
To get you
we
in
need
shape.
to get together.
Yeah.
We need to get you to Raw. We need to kick this thing off and get it going. It's not like, yeah, you do it and you show up at Mania. There's prep work that has to go into it, and you know, nothing could get done for the prep work. So.
Why'd you lose the weight? I mean, it was just you look great.
Yeah, I want to look different.
You just got sick of it.
I mean, yeah, I'm not. I've been the Big Show or the Giant for 20-something years, and I had a little thing in the back of my head where I had to be 450, I had to be 460, because I was that guy. And not to sound like an old school guy, but it was my character, it was my gimmick.
Mm-hmm. Right, like you want that sensational, like he weighs over X
and
number of pounds.
And you want the size and the presence, too. You want to stand in
Yeah.
the ring and dwarf everybody else around you. You know, now, I mean, I'm 370 now, so I think Mark Henry weighs more than I do.
So you lost 70 pounds?
No, I was 463 when I started.
Wow.
So, yeah.
Must be nice to walk up steps now.
Well, yeah, I mean, you know, I still move slow because, you know, for me, I'm like an old farm truck. It takes a while to get me started, but once you get me running, I'll run all night. So that's still good. You know, as long as I spend my time stretching and warming up for my matches, I'm fine. But during the rest of the day, I've got miles on me.
How much longer do you think you got in you for WWE?
A little less than a year.
So this will be the last WrestleMania?
Probably, yeah.
Yeah.
Probably.
So is that a bummer then, especially like being like...
No, it's not a bummer at all.
You're ready. You've had your moments.
It's not that. I've had my fantastic moments. I've had a blessed career. I've got to work with everyone who's ever been anyone in this business. I've got to see the new crop of guys coming out, the new future superstars in tomorrow, and I got to be friends with a lot of them and work with a lot of them, and I've got no regrets, man. I'm very happy and very thankful for everything I've had the opportunity to do here. So, but the sun sets on everything. You know, nothing lasts forever, and I think a guy my size that's lasted this long, that's a pretty good accolade in itself. Is
there a specific way you want to go out, or is it just
like Pale Rider? I'm gonna get on a horse and ride off into the sunset.
Just
yeah, dude. I've always been a worker. I'm not a big fanfare guy. I mean, I've always tried to pride myself on working to help get other guys over and keep myself over and be a useful talent and the way that whatever they asked me to do, I went out and did.
When you were with how was Mayweather to deal with when you
awesome.
He was.
Have you seen Jim? Have you seen him getting punched in the face by Floyd Mayweather?
I did see that.
Nose.
Yeah.
Legit.
Well, I told Floyd to break my nose.
You did.
Yeah, because if he didn't do something that night, our angle was dead in the water.
Well, why was it dead in the water? Nobody believed it?
Well, it's just a size disparity, and I was trying to do something different other than a wrestling angle.
Right.
So this is an opportunity with a trained professional that I trusted, who's one of the greatest fighters to ever box.
Right.
You know, I figured, and I'd spent a whole year messing around the ring boxing, so I knew he knew how to break my nose without shoving it through the back of my head. So.
And which was it? Hit it from the side?
It was a left hook. It was awesome.
That's amazing, though, to trust somebody to be like, I need you to break my nose, but you got to break it.
Well, no, I mean, there's a way he could have broke my nose and spread it all over the side of him. I mean, I can do that. I can hit somebody in the nose and spread it all over their face.
Right.
They look like a Goomba for the 1930s mafia. But, Floyd did it and it was fine.
How much did it hurt? Or not that? I've never broken my nose.
Here's the thing. Well, you haven't? Really?
No.
With a nose like that, you haven't broken it?
It's a tiny, it is a cute little nose. You figure all the asses that have been on it, one of them would have.
Too much weight. Brother. TMI. Did it hurt? Yeah, I think. And I told him, I said, look, when you do that, just make sure you run, because there'll be about 5 or 10 seconds that I probably won't be in my right frame of mind.
Yeah.
So even though it's that thing, like it's coming, that rage just.
Well, yeah, it happens. I mean, I'm not. I'm human. Mm-hmm. So I'm sure somewhere in my ancestry there was some guy that was riding a ship carrying a battle axe, and there's a Viking somewhere in there. So when that blood hits the back of your throat, you're pissed.
So you were angry when he hit you.
When I hopped the railing and went after his crew, I remember the one guy that had the balls to come up to me was Shane, because Shane and I are good friends. And Shane looks at me and goes, "Are you okay?" I'm like, "Yeah." He goes, "That was awesome." Then he put it right into perspective. You know what I mean? I mean, Shane has zero fear over anything. He'd fight a Bengal tiger in a phone booth. So,
really?
Yeah, Shane's amazing.
All right, so that's given a lot for a match to have a guy actually break your nose and know it's going to happen beforehand.
Well, I mean, I think that's the thing that a lot of fans don't understand is how much our guys do truly give above and beyond. It's not just for that for the match and what they see. It's the prep time that goes into it, the sacrifices that go into it. A lot of these guys have worked hurt, really hurt. I mean, I've seen Undertaker go out and do a match and come through, and they have to give him an IV just on the other side of Gorilla because he went out there and had a 20-minute match with 103 fever, and he's had some kind of severe food poison where it's coming out of both ends for like 2 days. So he's like literally knocking on death's door, but he would go out there and do it because that's who he was. I mean, it's a little different now because now they really concentrate more on the athletes and not putting them in situations like that. But some of the old school guys still have that the show must go on mentality.
Like the old Dusty Rhodes and those guys.
Those guys are amazing. They drove every night. They worked hurt. Didn't matter.
They didn't care.
Red makes green.
Yeah, I just want to put on a good match. My Dusty Rhodes impression.
Is that not the worst Dusty Rhodes impression you've ever heard in your life?
It's pretty crappy.
It's absolutely brutal.
I'm trying to watch my 4-letter words here. But,
you don't think it's good?
Jim's making it
He always
tough.
telling me it's good. He always told me my Dusty Rhodes is good.
He's your friend. He's lying to you.
Oh, okay. I thought it was good.
It's okay. You know what, brother? As long as you think it's good.
Thank you very much. The fans like it.
Yeah, sure they do.
They do.
Did you really? Was there really a thing that you calling him Fat Shaq was bullying, and you shouldn't?
Oh, I caught some grief for it.
But real grief, or just from him
real
being
grief
funny?
From our office, like I had one of the executives from the office in our whatever department. There's so many friggin' people that work there now. I don't know. I pay attention to the guy that owns the place. The rest of them I kind of ignore. But he goes, well, you want to be real careful when you reach out to Shaq because, it could be construed as bullying with calling him fat. And I'm like...
A 7'2" center?
I'm like...
Plus, it's a wrestling
I'm
thing.
like, it's a wrestling... And he's a grown-ass man. I mean, I've been called fat for friggin' 45 years wrestling. Okay, I get it. I'm bullying, which, it's on one hand... Sure, I should hold a better tone. I should hold a better sense of responsibility. I got it. But I thought in this one instance... it's two guys. I mean, it's, that know each other, that understand we're just throwing shots at each other. But I think the biggest worry is the image or the way I'm throwing it out there is not good for.
Well,
whatever.
And the culture's different too.
And the culture's different now, and I'm all about acceptance, and I'm all about inclusion, and I understand it. And it was just.
It's just funny,
though. It
though.
was piss poor creativity on my part to call him Fat Shaq.
But you have to go from, allowing the best fighter in the world to break your nose to, hype up a fight, and you can't call Shaq fat to hype up.
You know what? But that's the way the world's changed now.
It has.
Listen, just because I'm a caveman or a cowboy that sleeps out in the range and everybody else is living in homes with electricity and driving auto voitures, things change, and things change for the better. I mean, there's... In one instance, you look at all the kids that are bullied across the world, and it's a very serious epidemic now with online bullying and whatnot, and it's very traumatic for a lot of these kids now. So this is a very important issue that should be held with a little bit more accountability, a little bit more responsibility on my part. So,
I don't even know if it's bullying.
And I'm not just covering my ass because I work for W. I mean, in all sincerity. Looking back, I was trying to make a joke and be funny. But, that's, in essence, is kind of bullying.
Although it's hitting a guy who's so big. It's almost like it's like a guy calling someone who's so big. It's different than a kid who gets bullied. Because Shaq's never been bullied. People look at Shaq and go, no one's ever talked to him.
You're not punching down.
You're hitting a guy who's that big.
I kind of looked at it like that, too. I was, for once in his life, he was going to get punked out a little bit.
Yeah.
But at the same time, wrong is wrong. So.
Do you think about the stuff ever that you used to, or you meaning the collective you, used to do 15, 20 years ago?
And be walking to the ring smoking, doing stuff like that?
Yeah, how did we get away with that? And it was the culture. It wasn't just WWE.
It was the culture. It was a different time, and I don't think the eyes were on us then that are now. I mean, we're over in, 170 countries. We're worldwide. There's social media. I mean, you fart in public now, it's on social media.
And if one person gets upset, everybody hears about it. Everyone gets upset. If one person's pissed off at you, everyone knows about it.
Yeah, that seems to be the norm now, where it's a bandwagon syndrome. One thing happens, let's jump on him for that. Okay, I mean, I don't jump on bandwagons. I mean, I try to handle my business the best that I can, and I do Paul, y'all do y'all.
Yeah.
So that's how it works out for me.
Well, they used to the things they would never get away with today. They would like, cut them, like the bleeding. Like I used to love the bloody matches when I was a kid. I'm sure it was hard to do as a wrestler, but like when Dusty Rhodes would get all bloody, like I love that. I did Backlund, all those guys.
Well, you remember all the wrestling magazines had that stuff all over the front of it. But there was a difference then. Back then our product wasn't announced as sports entertainment. You know what I mean?
Right.
So there's no reason to do that now. To do that now, when everyone knows it's with a predetermined outcome, is stupid.
It's amazing wrestling survived that. People knowing that, like that, everyone thought that it was almost like when Kiss took their makeup off, and just it got bigger.
It's a gimmick.
But the fact that it was so popular that it went even bigger after that, nobody cared.
I think because for fans of it, I don't know that it ever mattered. Like I remember being a kid, I was like 8 when I went to my first live show, and my parents were worried that I was going to see it and realized that it's entertainment and that, not everything is as it seems. But like it didn't even occur to me to be like, wait a minute. It was like this is what I've been watching. This is the show.
If you go to our product and you sit there and you try to examine it for validity, like you're doing an experiment, you're going to form a hypothesis, then a theory, then you're going to do experiments on it. Yeah, you're going to poke a lot of holes in it. Just like if you looked at any drama you watch on TV, like, okay, why would she run outside in the dark because she hears a noise? Obviously, there's a monster out there.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Well, that's what we do with entertainment. We create situations that are somewhat feasible, somewhat plausible in the right situations, and we try to entertain. And we entertain through athleticism and competition, but it's still a big story. I mean, I'm not really a raging lunatic that I played sometimes, you know what I mean? I'm not the crybaby that I play sometimes. I mean, it's just a character,
Well, it's almost like when they came out and said, yeah, it's entertainment, it takes away the argument people had against it.
Yeah.
Because that's what people would always go, yeah, but it's not. And then people are like, yeah, it's just entertainment. Now there's nothing they can say.
People say, oh, well, it's not real. I said, let me tell you something, buddy. You teach me how to fake gravity, we'll go to NASA and get stupid rich. You know what I mean? Because what goes up comes down. So, I mean, on one aspect, yes, we have a predetermined outcome, and it is drama. But on the other hand, this is not a once-a-week thing. This is 5 nights a week all over the world. Sometimes you don't sleep for 30 hours because you're flying internationally, and you have to land, and you have to stretch, and you have to go do your deal, and you're exhausted, and you're tired, but you still go out there, and you put on a show for the fans that took the time to come and see you.
Food poisoning has got to be the worst. When you talk about the Undertaker having food poisoning, have you ever gotten sick before you had to? That's my greatest fear, is having to shit right before I got to work.
Well, it's happened in the ring. It happened in South Africa when I was wrestling Brock Lesnar. The food was bad, and I started taking Germans in his comeback, and that was all she wrote.
Oh, no.
And then Brock,
so, what a German suplex is when so Big Show will have his back to Brock's stomach, and Brock will have his arms wrapped around him, and he's suplexing him over his head like that.
I think it was 2 Germans in a belly-to-belly, and Brock started laughing. He goes, did you poop yourself? And he didn't say poop. I went, yeah. Asked, can we just go home now? Can I get an F5 and get the hell out of here?
What's an F5?
F5 is his finish. Throws you on the shoulder and gives you like a helicopter spin.
Okay.
But he's still, now you got to take this giant man who's got shit in his pants and put him up on your shoulders.
Well, that's the thing. Just because I shit myself, Brock thought it was hysterical. He's laughing at me the whole time. So then we used to do a spot where I would carry Paul Heyman to the back, because then he would F5 Paul Heyman and leave us in the ring. Because this is when I beat Brock, and then Paul Heyman had turned on him, and so there was a lot of heat between us.
This was Brock Lesnar's first run with WWE before UFC.
So I got to carry Paulie to the back, and Paulie's like, "You gonna carry me to the back?" And I'm like, "I can't." "Why not?" I said, "Because I pooped." "What?" "What?" I said, "I pooped my pants." He goes, "What? I can't hear you." "Paulie, I shit my pants." Ow, okay, ow, are you okay? He turns into my Jewish mother as soon as he finds out that I had an accident. I love him. He's a good dude.
How do you keep it from is it just because tights don't splattering out the legs?
Well, I had long tights on, so I had the long
shorts.
I had the long tights underneath, and I had leather pants on over it, because when I did that run with Brock, I went through that.
Thank God.
I wore definitely thank God. The only part that sucked was standing out back of the arena with a hose trying to wash all that stuff off.
Boy, that would have taken the glamour out of it.
It's not like I can go down to the store and buy some new gear. I gotta rinse it out and get it clean. So.
You think it would have taken the glamour out to see the superstar, the Big Show, like just behind the
dumpster with his pants down? Yeah.
A lot of stuff we have to do for ourselves takes all the glamour out of being a superstar. Believe me, we're not rolling around like a diva with fresh flowers in the locker room.
Yeah. How much did your life change when? Because do you use a bus? I know some of the guys use buses.
I did from 2006 to last year. I used a bus
because that's when you were on the road full time.
I'm still on the road full time now, but our scheduling is so damn crazy with this Raw brand. Like we'll do a Friday in California, and then the Saturday show's in Dallas, and there's a new thing they've done now with the buses. Or if you have a DOT number, they have a black box in them. So once the bus starts, it has exactly 10 hours to run, and then it has to shut down for a mandatory 8 hours. So sometimes a driver might need to drive 12 hours in a day to get to where they're going, and they can't do it. Or they'll drive for 8 hours, they'll sleep for 5, be fully rested, drive for another 8. I mean, these guys are machines.
Yeah.
But now the new federal laws for safety, somebody sold the U.S. government a black box to make things safer, which made a lot of money off the taxpayers, which is killing the trucking and service industry like that.
So they can't so in order to do that, they'd have to have 2 drivers.
I had to pay for 2 drivers, you know what I mean? And then you're talking, an extra added expense. And the way I was doing it before, it was a little bit more than renting cars and staying in really nice hotels. But feasibly now, it just doesn't work with the scheduling. So, I ride with Luke Gallows and Carl Anderson and the Bullet Club guys, and we stay at Residence Inns, and we're pretty happy.
Why a bus? Is it just the flying was a pain in the ass for you because you're a big guy?
No, I flew. The pain in the ass for me was riding in a rental car.
Because you're so big.
You know what I mean? It was just too much. And then connecting flights, I was too much. You know what I mean? So luckily I've lost all this weight now, so it's a lot easier. But when I originally went to a bus, I had a herniated L4 and L5 when I was working. When I was doing that ECW run, I'd herniated my L4 and L5 and was still wrestling. So,
do you think you'd do that if you
not at all.
herniated 2 discs in your back?
No, I wouldn't.
Well, I mean, it was tough. I mean, I was able to get through what we were doing, but I had, once I got through the curtain, I was like Quasimodo. I couldn't stand up. But I used the bus because I got flat every night. I was able to help my spine elongate and heal, and because they wanted to fuse it, and I'm not doing that.
Did you have a bed in the back of it? I've never been on a tour bus before, Frank. I've sat in them, but I've never actually.
What the hell do you think I had in the back of it? A rocking chair?
I would hope so. It's comfortable.
Jesus, use your imagination. Yes, I
don't know.
Bed, I had a shower.
Question. Not a good
I had
question.
a kitchen.
Why would he have a bus if not?
Why would I have a bus
bed?
without a bed? Like, well, you think like a friggin' Greyhound bus? I'm just going to sit in a regular seat.
He just rented a school bus.
Well, I figure he's a big guy. Maybe they just sat in the bus and I don't know.
Do you think that like bigger people like?
So I'm such a freak. I can't have a bed in the back of the bus.
He's
what is
like,
it with this guy?
Well, you said you were driving with other guys, so I figured that there's no way you and a bunch of other men would have a bed in the back. But I didn't. That's
no,
what
he's
I was
riding
thinking.
with other guys now.
Oh, well, that's what I'm thinking.
When I had the bus, I was by myself. But to answer your question,
I'm defending your masculinity.
My masculinity is never in question.
I know, but I just never know.
Yours highly questionable.
Yes, I'm the one who questions it.
Yeah, the back of the bus, I had my own bedroom, had my own shower, my own sink. I had a washer and dryer. Now, there were bunks in the bus, which were single bunks. There was like 3 of them. And those were, if somebody caught a ride, they could catch a nap in the bunk. I had a living room, kitchen.
Yeah, nice phone.
I mean, it's like a rolling apartment, really.
Right.
But it's just narrow and long.
I would still like to be on one. I've never. Every guy I know has taken. I've never taken a tour bus anywhere. It's like, but it seems the reason they have bunks, and a lot of times there'll be 12 guys in a bus.
Yeah,
right.
Some 15 guys. Some of those buses will hold 15 bunks, and then the back where my bed would be, they just have a little lounge.
Right.
But those guys are stuck, in the bunks for 8 hours.
So you have to pay for the bus?
Yeah, I had to pay for the bus. I had to pay for the bus. I had to pay for the fuel. I had to pay for the oil changes. I had to pay for the driver. I had to pay for the tolls.
So they basically will say, okay, here's what it's like when you four-wall a gig. You take here's your money for whatever you're doing, and however you get there is up to you, and whatever accommodations
I get a plane ticket in and out.
Okay.
I mean, we're 1099 independent contractors. We get a plane ticket to the show and home from the show, and then rental cars, hotels, other expenses are all our responsibility.
Wow.
So, yeah, like most of our guys are, we rent cars. We fly in. We're members with National and Hertz and Avis and Budget, and we fly in, we rent a car, and we drive. We drive ourselves every night after the shows. It's not as glamorous. It's not all limousines and jet plane flying.
Yeah.
We're driving ourselves.
It really is, because a lot of times, like there have been shows that are like in town, and so I'll text somebody and be like, "Oh, I know this good spot. You want to go grab something to eat or hang out after the show?"
Next town.
Yeah, no, I'm out of here, dude. I'm next town. No celebrating.
Wait, do you try to hang out with the guys after, and they don't want to?
No, that's not it at all. The thing is, you want to drive after the show. One, you want to get to the next town in case there's any problems. You got plenty of time to prepare so you don't miss the next show.
Right.
Two, usually driving at night when you're going somewhere, there's less traffic. Like if you're driving in the day, you're going to run into city traffic. You're going to run into people on the highways. At night, there's less traffic. It's a little harder to find good places to eat. But, Denny's is usually always open. So,
problem with night driving is you'll do it. That's when they do construction. So all of a sudden you'll run into a wall where they've stopped all traffic. We took an hour and a half to go at night because there's a cop leading the entire line because they're repairing a bridge. Once in a while at night it can kill you.
That happens very, very rarely. Very rarely, because most of the towns we're going to, there's alternate ways to get there. So, and usually if somebody's ahead and runs into something like that, it's like the old days with CBs. You get a massive group text, and then all of us will know to take a different route. So we all look out for each other as best we can.
What would you say? I don't know if you regret anything.
No.
But what to you do you feel like is the most ridiculous thing that you've
dancing
done?
is Baby New Year.
That's what
That's the worst thing, I think. And I know, to me, it felt awkward. It felt like it was. I think it was a rib. I think Vince was ribbing me on that, which you have to deal with that every now and then.
Mm-hmm. And had you done something specific, or he just thought it would be funny to rib the Big Show tonight?
He just thought it was funny, and he knew that I would do it. But then after I did it, it felt weird. I felt like it was a weird online video that you would tune into, like, see the fat guy in the diaper dance. Ooh.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I felt like I needed to shower and the crying game was playing in my head. So, yeah, like even the crew guys like Howie and Luis, the guys, and Brian, the lighting guy and the camera guys and stuff, they're all looking at me like, man, we're sorry we had to film that,
Yeah.
But it was just like, no, dance, damn it, dance. Baby New Year, have fun. And I'm like, okay, I don't really dance, and this is really weird, and my inner child's wounded.
Did you do it in front of people? Was it in front of a full crowd?
No. It was a pre-tape backstage. Thank God. I mean, if it was in front of a full crowd, it'd have been better.
Right.
Because you had an audience to play to. But when you're a room full of camera guys, that respect you, and then you respect them, and then you're dancing in a friggin' diaper, it's a little... It tests your commitment of how much you like what you do.
Yeah. So. And at that point, you got to, like, okay, I've done this now. We need to start doing something more aggressive with the Big Show character.
I think like within a week after that, I was like killing people again.
Yeah.
So I run highs and lows. One week I'm funny. The next week I'm killing people.
Is that what Vince does when he gets annoyed at somebody? He just makes them do something he knows that they're going to hate doing?
No, not necessarily at all, because with him it's all about business. But what he did, if you look at it, that was something to celebrate New Year. That was something to draw attention to. That was something to... we're all about making memorable moments. Now, whether I enjoyed it or not, a lot of people laughed at that. I'm sure a lot of people were grossed the hell out by it too, but it made a moment, it made an impact. And that's the one thing about this business. If you're going to be successful in it, you got to leave your ego at the door. Not everybody gets to be cool and flip middle fingers and hit everybody with stunners. Not everybody is going to have 1,000 great catchphrases. And this business, you have to really check your ego at the door. And I think that's a lot of problem that a lot of guys have once they taste a little bit of success here, is they also forget the fact that, hey, it's entertainment. Some days, and my line to the other guys is, some days you're the hammer, some days you're the nail.
Right.
So just, some days I'm going to kill 4 or 5 guys, some days I'm going to go out there and dance in a diaper. That's just the way it is. It's the entertainment business you signed up for, and not everybody gets to be cool.
Well, was that a tough thing for you to go through? Because you were wrestling when The Rock and Stone Cold and all those guys were at their absolute peak.
Was it tough?
No, was it tough? No, I'm sure it wasn't tough, because I'm sure there was a lot of money to be made.
Right.
But to look at them, like, did a lot of people want to do what they were doing? Like, can I just go out? I want to go out and do cool Stone Cold stuff. I want to say cool rock stuff.
You want to do stuff like that. The problem is you can't execute as well as those guys. I mean, when those guys have that niche, they are executing that awesome. I can remember lining up after a Raw, me and a couple other heels, we would line up at the gorilla position after Raw went off the air, while Rock and Stone Cold would be out there for 45 minutes cutting promos and singing and laughing, just to run down and take stunners and rock bottoms and elbows. Because it was so awesome. The crowd was so hot. Hey, I don't mind going down and taking a stunner. I don't mind taking a rock bottom. It wasn't about me and my character perception, I can't do it. No, I want to entertain the crowd. I want to have fun. So, I mean, those guys need heels to bump. No problem.
You're there.
No problem. I'm glad because I'm there to pump the crowd. I mean, I'm there to try to do the best that I can within the limited amount of talent I have to give them the best show that I can from my character standpoint.
How do you avoid when you're away at a place like this where it's nothing but wrestling? How do you avoid? How do you get any private time or like if you want to eat something?
I don't get any private time anyway. I look like a shaved Yeti walking downtown. Like everybody's going to notice who I am. If I want privacy, I stay in my house. So I mean, it's you just accept it. You try to be gracious with everyone as best you can. I mean, sometimes here's the thing: if people are polite with me, I'm very polite with them. I don't respond well to, hey, come give me an autograph.
Did they really say that?
It's happened.
Like they demand it. Wow. Like you owe it to them.
Yeah, well, here's the thing. I always try to sign or take a picture of everyone if I can, unless it's like, there's like 50 people and I'm trying to make a flight to get to the next town. I'm sorry, guys, I got to go. I'm usually polite about it.
Right.
But rudeness begets rudeness. If I get somebody rude, then, well, I'll heal pretty quick. Most of the time now people are very nice, But every now and then you get the one random weirdo that, like, really wants to push you to be insulting or to be rude. And I just, piss off. I don't have time for you.
Do they bother you while you're eating?
I did have a lady. It was funny. I ran into a kid in Winnipeg. Last week I did an autograph signing for World of Wheels. I was in Winnipeg. I ran into a kid that was at a Big Montana 15 years ago when it was me, Billy Gunn, and Road Dogg, and we'd done a show, and we were eating at this Big Montana steakhouse in Winnipeg. And we'd sat down, we ordered our food, and there was a lady across from us who's, when people recognize who you are. Okay, well, we're sitting there talking, we're waiting for our food. My food comes, I cut into my steak, I have steak on my fork. As I'm putting the food in my mouth, she comes up and puts her hand on my hand and says, hey, will you take a picture with me and my kids? Like, she waited till I was about to put food in my mouth. I said, you waited for 15 minutes? I said, no, piss off. Go away.
Yeah.
Because it wasn't about being a fan. It wasn't about taking a picture. It was about, I'm going to exert control and make this big guy do this. And it was just rude. So I wouldn't bother anybody when they were eating.
Yeah, it's a weird time.
And it's tough because, you have to be, like I'll say all the time, I said, well, as soon as I'm done, I'll be happy to. And I have eaten my food and then stayed and taken pictures with everyone and done that have asked. But I kind of like to eat my food while it's hot. Right. If you start doing pictures and stuff while you're eating to be polite, your food will be cold.
Right.
I mean, it sounds like such a
basic,
big deal. You're a big superstar. You should stop, drop, and roll and do whatever. Well, yeah, but I'm a human being. I like to have hot food, for God's sake. Can I just give me this 10 minutes or 15 minutes to eat, and then, I'm all yours again. That's all.
What do you want to do with your time once you're done in a year or so? Like, what are you going to
find some new projects, definitely.
Acting and stuff?
Definitely want to do some acting projects. Definitely want to do there's a lot of stuff I'm discovering now with the fitness and stuff like that I'm really getting into, and finding that I'm inadvertently, I'm trying to. It's motivating and helping a lot of younger people that are overweight. They're dealing with weight issues, and I think this might be an avenue where I can, not for a profit thing to become a weight loss guru, but if I can put together something to tell my story, maybe go and talk to people or something, and help someone else who's struggling with that journey, because I understand the struggle. I understand how impossible it feels to lose weight, to find a lifestyle change, a diet change that'll work for you. I think that is something I would look forward to doing too, is helping someone realize that they can make a change.
What's the hardest thing not to eat?
I was about to ask the exact same thing.
Because on the road, it's impossible. I ate a bag of pretzels last night. A fucking bag.
Like a full
bag.
Oh, Jim.
Just a compulsive idiot.
Well, I think you answered your own question.
Pretzels are the hardest for you?
No, I don't. There's nothing that's hard for me to eat now. I just choose not to.
No, but you're not an impulsive idiot, you're saying?
Yeah, I'm not an impulsive idiot. I think that's what I'm saying. That's your problem. You're impulsive.
You really don't have trouble looking at pizza or something?
No, here's the thing. I can look at it, but I've worked out a mental plan in my mind, and it's funny. I have what I call my inner fat kid. I have my inner fat kid who wants, every time he drives McDonald's, he wants McDonald's, who wants bad food, who wants to order dessert, who wants to have fried food. There's an inner fat kid who always wants. That's your emotional inner fat kid. That you're not eating because you're hungry. You're eating because emotionally it's comforting. Well, I have to, slap the inner fat kid around and check him. So when I feel like, I should go to the gym, but I'm tired, I don't feel like it. As soon as those words come out of my brain, I get up and go to the gym, because that's the inner fat kid trying to to coax me into going back into the way I used to be, which I wasn't happy. So the same thing with food. Like I'll look at something and say, oh, I'd really love to have. No, I don't need it. Because whatever I eat that's bad is not going to be worth the grief I'm going to feel later. So I choose not to.
Discipline.
I mean, I have, and I've had to do it through, like maybe I'm schizophrenic and I'm having conversations with myself, but I'm really honest with myself on there were foods that I liked. There were foods that I would go to when I was, upset or whatever. I've put other foods in place for that now. I mean, there are things I like more. Okay, if I'm hungry and I want a snack, I have raw almonds. I have a little cup full of raw almonds. You think, raw almonds, what is that? Okay, well, you make yourself like them.
I eat them all the time.
Raw almonds?
Raw almonds or raw, like no salt, nothing.
Good, then leave the pretzels alone.
I know, but raw almonds get sucky after a while. I eat a lot of raw almonds.
You can't make yourself like them?
No one likes them. I heard that they taste. I heard.
There's a couple of things you can do. You can get sliced raw almonds, put them on a cookie tray, sprinkle them with some stevia, put them in the oven, bake them. You'll smell them when they're done, and then they're like a sweet candy. It's like candy brittle, but it's raw almonds and it's healthy for you.
I could do
so
that.
It just takes food prep and it takes time. It's lazy. The problem is we're lazy because everything's a phone call away, an app away, a button away. So it's lazy. So your inner fat kid gets to win because he gets to call all the shots. I'm hungry. I'm going to go have a bag of pretzels because it's right here, instead of taking the time to prepare to eat something healthy.
Jim likes little mini candy bars.
Everyone likes them. No one doesn't like
They're
little
so
mini candy bars.
Oh,
They're amazing.
like the little good bars and Hershey's.
Fun
and
size.
Yeah, they're
It's
fun
delightful.
size. So you eat 50 of them, then you're fat size.
Yeah.
Well, we should probably take a break.
Yes, we should.
I know we got a bunch of people
Well, thanks, guys,
through.
for the time.
Big
Here's the
show.
thing.
Thank you.
If you really want to change the way you want to eat and you don't like how you're eating, take the time, do some research, study your habits, study what you eat, study what triggers you to eat bad food, whether you're tired, depressed, frustrated, horny, whatever it is that makes you go eat bad food. Figure that out and then make the change.
Yeah.
You have the power. I mean, here's the thing. If you're locked in a bamboo cage in a jungle somewhere like a POW, you don't get a menu.
Right.
So if you have to discipline yourself and be and have some willpower.
Jim,
Trust me, if I have willpower, you can have willpower.
I've lost
too.
weight, so I definitely understand it. I just forget. I know the craziness. Usually it's on the road it happens. It's usually when I'm not home, I can't eat what I normally eat.
Jim gets
Then
horny.
you got to prepare when you go on the road. I don't want to think about Jim getting horny.
He eats bad other things, but it's not food.
Yes, I do. And then I'm hungry again when I'm finished, so it doesn't help.
No calories. I got it. My name's Paul. That's between y'all.
All right, big show.
Thank you, guys.
WrestleMania, you're in the Andre Battle Royal.
Yep, very excited about it.
It'll be fun, and we'll take a break, and we'll be back live from Radio Row here
I need
at
coffee. Yes.
WrestleMania Axxess.
Bye, guys.